Good morning. We're going to start the service today by singing Put Your Roots Down, as we learned it from the Thrive Street Choir. Just join in as you feel comfortable. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. I said, put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. I said, put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across the bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. I said, put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear the earth sing if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening?
Good morning. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Lisa Reitzes. I'm a member of the worship team, and it is my great joy to be gathering with you on this day with the Reverend Carter Smith, Rainier Reunion, along with Gracie Bucklew, John Hanson, Larry Jones, who are providing our music today. Gracie will be lighting our chalice, and Jade Wild will be sharing our Time for All Ages. Nate Sikora and Ned Mesnard, up in the booth there, are our tech experts bringing us in the sanctuary together with those joining us remotely. And for the gifts of all these folks, we are grateful. It is a blessing to be able to worship together and to be here with all of you today. So if you're with us for the first time or the first time in a while, especially welcome. We're so glad that you are here to share in this time, to make some space in your life, to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website or scan the QR code on the card in the pews to fill out a Getting to Know You welcome form so that we can send you our weekly electronic newsletter, the Westside Week, which is full of information about upcoming worship services and other congregational activities, both in person and online. And everyone, let's gather after the service for conversation and community in the social hall downstairs so that we can catch up with each other, greet our newcomers on this joyous day when we join people from many cultures, our friends, neighbors, classmates, in celebrating the sacred times, the spring equinox, Passover, Easter, and Ramadan that are happening all at the same time right now. So we gather today from many locations and we take this moment to particularly acknowledge that our congregation resides on the traditional territory of the Duwamish people. In this acknowledgement, we recognize the Duwamish heritage imbued in the mountains, valleys, waterways, and shorelines that surround us all. May we nurture our relationships with our coastal Salish neighbors, especially the Duwamish people, and our shared responsibilities to this place. Let us take a moment to offer humble respect for this place and its peoples and renew our commitments to the work of authentic reconciliation. So whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, You are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no test of faith, no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another, commitments we make to heal a hurting world within and beyond our walls. It's good to see so many familiar and new faces today. So let's take a few moments to greet those around you in any way that feels safe, a smile, a wave, an elbow bump, and look around and say hello to someone you don't yet know. I'll let you call them.
Okay. It's lovely to see such warm greeting on a chilly gray day. Our opening words this morning come from Polly Leland Mayer. Today we come as people have come for thousands of years to worship and sing praises, to celebrate the victory of hope over despair, to be reminded of the ever-renewing life of the Spirit, and to mark the season of springtime come again. Welcome to our festival of joy. Come now and let us worship together. And now it will be time to light our chalice. In each week's service, we invite a member of our congregation to light the chalice of our shared faith. And today our chalice lighter is Gracie Bucklew. Gracie, could you come forward? We ask our chalice lighters to respond to the question, what gives you hope? Gracie, can you tell us what gives you hope?
Last winter, I had a really tough go of it. Completely overwhelmed with my role and responsibilities as a graduate student, I struggled through every day and every night. I felt lost in the depths of the dark and cold of November, December, January, February, March. I felt scared and alone and fragile. I felt like my mind was failing me and my body was betraying me. It was all too much. One day, at the end of March, I picked and gathered a bunch of rosemary from a neighbor's overflowing bushes. The plant's scent reliably calms and soothes me, and I wrote a short entry in my journal, accompanied by a pen drawing of the rosemary. It is morning, the sun is rising, and I am still alive. It is the first day of spring, the equinox. Thank God, and the seasons turn. And I can thank cold, dark winter for what it brought me, for what it taught me, and for what it does for the earth. Thank God, the seasons turn, turn, turn. I find comfort in the inevitability of change. Everything, every season, every situation, every relationship, every feeling, positive and negative, will change. I surrender to the wheel of fortune and misfortune, riding life's ebbs and flows with unwavering hope that the sun will rise tomorrow and spring has come.
And now, as Gracie lights our chalice, please share in reading the words of our congregational affirmation, which will be on our screen. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus we do covenant with one another.
Please rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn. Sing and rejoice. It's number 395 in your gray hymnal. We're going to sing through it twice in unison, and then we'll sing it 3 times in a round. If you're on this side of the sanctuary, these are your leaders. And if you're on this side of the sanctuary, follow along with us. Or sing at your own pace, however you like.
It's wonderful to hear that round take shape in this space. In a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering, when we take time to actively support Westside UU Congregation and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts, that is, those donations not designated as your pledge contributions. For the month of April, our community giving recipient is Sound Generations. Sound Generations is a multi-service nonprofit partnering with older adults to remove the inequities that impact aging by providing accessible, essential, and inclusive services that support people through their life's journey. Their services include Meals on Wheels, volunteer transportation, personalized guidance for navigating resources, and resources for caregivers, just to name a few. They've been serving their communities in King County since 1967. So because our Sunday worship schedule is now twice monthly, there are fewer Sunday opportunities to extend our generosity to our community partners. So please consider increasing your contribution in each service that you attend, so that we can continue to support the work of these worthy organizations. You can give by text by sending a message with a $sign and the amount you want to give. The information's up on the screen. If you want to update your payment information, text update to that same number. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to share your gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among us shortly. And if you'd like your gift to be recorded as coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now as the greeters come forward, please enjoy this gift of music, a traditional Scottish tune, The Flowers of Edinburgh, from Chris McEwen, Gracie Bucklew, and Lisa Maynard.
There's some contention, actually. It might be in Irish, too.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, let's go.
Scottish, Irish, don't care, really wonderful. I'm sure somebody cares about that, but please, to all of you, thank you to everyone for giving you, as you are able, to support Westside and Sound Generations. Your generosity of time, treasure, and presence are gifts that sustain us as a community. So here's what's happening in RE, Religious Exploration, today. Today is a multi-generational service to celebrate Easter, Passover, Spring, and Renewal all together. And it is designed to engage all ages. So children and youth, whoever's here, are invited to remain in the sanctuary. And there are busy bags available to support children who need something to do with their hands. We also have 2 spaces designed for little ones who need to make a little more noise. Our quiet room is in the balcony, some of you may not know about that, above the sanctuary, and is available for babies and toddlers with their caregivers. Our nursery is located behind these doors in the Northwest Sanctuary. It's available for infants to 5-year-olds this Sunday. And it is now our time for all ages, and Jade Wild will be sharing today's story. So I was going to say, anyone of any age who wishes to come and hear Jade better, come down, sit on the floor, or in front of the pew, on the front of the pews, anybody who wants to get close to Jade. Why would you not, really?
Well, good, nourishing, rainy spring morning, everyone. And I'd like to begin by inviting children and humans of all ages who feel ready to bring a vase of flowers to please come forward. Nora, you can go back and get some flowers if you'd like. Yes, thank you, Nina. You can put them right over here. Thanks, Kai. Thank you, Evan. So today we have the great fortune of celebrating our flower communion, and I'm going to tell you a story about a very brave man who had a very unique idea about how to celebrate the beauty inside each of us and the beauty of the earth. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So in our Unitarian Universalist Church, we call the celebration our flower communion. Communion means sharing. This celebration is about sharing and about differences in likes and dislikes, differences in giving and receiving, and the unique differences in all of us. Most Unitarian Universalist churches have a flower communion service each spring, and of course ours gets to be today on this beautiful, rainy, nourishing spring Sunday. So there was this fella named Norbert Čapek, who was born in 1870 in the country of Czechoslovakia, which was part of Austria. His family was too poor to send him to school, so they sent Norbert to live with his uncle Victor in Vienna, Austria. His uncle was a tailor who cut and sewed fine clothing, and Norbert worked as his assistant. Although Norbert was able to pay his way through university and work as a tailor, his uncle's family was Catholic. Norbert did not agree with some of the teachings of the Catholic faith, and he was a very thoughtful fella. So he left their home and became a Baptist. The Baptists took him in and sent him to seminary to learn to become a missionary, where he would travel to other countries and teach about the Bible. He also started his own magazine with articles about science and psychology, and he asked many, many questions. But the Czech authorities did not trust Baptists. They thought that they asked too many questions, and so the Czech police raided Čapek's home and office and took away all of his writings and all of his magazines. So Čapek decided to move to the United States to escape that persecution. In the United States, he discovered the Unitarian faith. And this faith encouraged his asking of questions, and it encouraged his scientific spirit. He joined a Unitarian church in New Jersey. He married an American woman who also was Unitarian. But then he was sent back by the American Unitarian Association to his home in Czechoslovakia to be a missionary there and to help people recover from World War I. Back in Czechoslovakia, Norbert rented a concert hall in which to meet, and people came from many religious backgrounds to this new church. The people were discouraged with the teaching of their former religion and were seeking something new. They didn't want any part of their old religion, so Chopik's new church was very different from the ones they had known. He didn't wear a minister's robe. There were no singing of hymns, no prayers, no stained glass windows, no decorations of any kind in the church. But Chopik felt that something was missing, something that might tie them all together despite their differences. One day on his way home from church, he saw a brilliant flower along the road. And suddenly, he had an idea that began our flower communion. The next Sunday, he asked each person to bring a flower of any kind, just like we did here today. Our flowers are like each of us, different shapes, different colors, different sizes, very unique and special, every one. And notice what we can see when all the unique flowers come together, like we have here in these vases. It takes many flowers to make a bouquet, of course, and it takes many kinds of people to make a faith community to work. We receive many gifts of love and friendship from our church friends, and it takes all of you to make our community strong and special. So today, let's enjoy the beauty of our flowers and our friends.
Thank you, Jade, for teaching us about this special ritual that is our flower communion. And now, because this is a special service, it's multi-generational, we will sing our song as you go, but our kids will not be going out to their classes. Instead, our volunteers who have come forward have done so, and anybody else can go back to their pews. And since this is a multi-generational service, we can take this time to sing these words of care to one another. Let's sing. Each time that we gather as a worship community, we do take time to honor the joys and sorrows that we bring into this space. And today we will do this practice as part of our flower ritual. I have no personal joys or sorrows to name here this morning, but know that each of us live rich and complex lives full of ups and downs, celebrations and hurt. We bring those with us today. And you may notice that there are more than just flowers on our tables this morning. As we do so on the first worship of each month here at Westside, I will soon invite you forward to light a candle of joy or sorrow and place it on our shared altar. This morning, you are also invited to take a flower. This is a practice in trying something familiar, but maybe in a different way than we are used to, so I invite your curiosity and presence. How we will do this is that when I invite you forward, you will file down either side of our sanctuary. You will come to receive a candle from Lisa Reitzes or I, and then you will light your candle of joy or sorrow, symbolizing all that you bring with you this morning, and then please receive a flower. As it is given to you, take it as a blessing, representing the persistence of life and hope, a moment of connection with one another amidst all that life holds for us in these days. And then you will return to your seat down the center aisle with your flower, After everyone has received their flower and returned to their seat, we will hold a time of meditation followed by song. You may wish to use this time to sit quietly, reflect on the joys and sorrows in your life, to hold them with compassion and grace. You may wish to just admire your flower. For those of you joining us from home, you are invited to light your own candles of joy or sorrow. If you have a flower near you, maybe you want to take a minute to hold it in your hands and appreciate its beauty. And if you don't have a flower, you may want to call to mind a favorite flower of yours and think of its beauty and what you love about it. So let us begin. Please come forward and share in this time of ritual together. continue to meditate on our flowers for a moment more. Please take your flower in your hand and hold it gently. Look closely at it. Its stem, its petals, its shape and color. Imagine the work it took for it to grow and bloom. Everything it has been through to get to where it is today. Now imagine yourself as a flower. What are all the things in your life that have helped you to grow and bloom? Think of the good things, the hard things, the things you are grateful for. As you hold your flower, think of the joys and sorrows you carry with you today. Imagine your joys and sorrows as the sun and rain that helped this flower to grow. Breathe deeply, feeling all that you hold within you in this moment. Every winter brings with it a time of darkness when much that is alive around us dies back to rest. And yet, there is spring. The flowers always come. Whether we anxiously await their arrival, or maybe we are just trying to get by and forget to even look outside, the flowers still come. In this way, may we always be reminded of the persistence of nature, the joyful, surprising, delightful resilience of flowers. May we carry this with us through the rest of our service this morning and as we go forth into our lives beyond these walls. And now please join in our sung response, "There is a Love."
Our anthem this morning is called Same Sun, and it's written by Gretchen Sliker. Here's what Gretchen said about the inspiration for her song. On December 24th, 2020, I was walking through an old-growth forest toward a wild beach on the coast of Washington, wondering what, amidst all the divisiveness in the world, are the basic commonalities among humans and all the beings of the world. And I was asking myself, why am I here? This song came through as a kind and loving answer from a place I deeply love.
powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive. Go back to the mystery. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive until we go back to the mystery. I have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. May I shine a light of kindness through the night until we go back to the mystery. May we shine a light of kindness through the night. Go back to the mystery, until we go back to the mystery, until we go back to the mystery.
Thank you so much for that music. And thanks to everyone for sharing in our flower communion today. It is my understanding that Westside often does this ritual a little later in the year when the abundance of spring is in fuller bloom and our gardens are lush, not just beginning. And to be honest, when we looked at the spring worship calendar, we had so many other great days planned. This felt like a time that made sense to do it. But also, I find that this is sometimes the time of year when it feels like we need flowers the most. Think of the joy we see when the first yellow daffodils pop up by the sidewalk, or rosemary in a neighbor's yard. The way a city goes out to celebrate the cherry blossoms. We are tired from gray and cold months, days like today that just keep coming. But the flowers come and they remind us that brighter days are ahead. I am so grateful that Norbert Čapek, who we learned about in our story today, had the wisdom to create this tradition for us, and we have carried it forward for 100 years now. This is the 100th anniversary of the flower communion. There are actually many holidays around the world in our wider culture that celebrate this time of new beginnings, as has been mentioned. Notably, today is Easter Sunday, which is a very important Christian holiday. For Christians, Easter is about the death of their teacher, Jesus, and the story of his resurrection, meaning the time when he rose from the dead to have new life with God. When Jesus was executed, all of his followers, his students, they were not only grieving the loss of someone that they really cared about, but they were worried if their community, if Jesus' message would die with him. But with his resurrection, they were able to celebrate that his message of love would live on, talk about new life. And in the Jewish tradition, this week has been the time for the festival of Passover. For Jewish people, Passover is about the story of their ancestors, the Israelites, being led into freedom after many years of being enslaved in Egypt. They struggled for so long, for many generations, but then, under the leadership of Moses, with the help of the divine, they were able to escape and to find new hope and create a new life for themselves and their community. And in the pagan tradition, there's a celebration around this time of year. It was actually a couple weeks ago, called the spring equinox, or Ostara. This is a holiday that marks the midpoint in the year between the winter solstice and the summer solstice, when the days are noticeably longer in the northern hemisphere. The world around us is starting to shift. There are stories in the pagan tradition about the goddess of spring and the new life that she brings, symbolized in things like eggs and bunnies. All of these holidays are important in the culture around us and are a part of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. I wish I had more time to talk in depth about them because there's so much we can learn from each. But I think they say something about us. There must be something in us humans that makes us get giddy and excited this time of year. We need something to celebrate. We feel the earth waking up again, and we start to wake up with it. And we want to celebrate. And I think this is because historically, partly, winter has been a time that is difficult for humans, maybe more difficult than it is today. Food does not grow well in winter, so we had to rely on the harvest from earlier seasons. And without modern conveniences, we had to put so much work and effort into just keeping warm during colder months. For our ancestors, the first flowers signaled that the hard months were coming to an end soon. Easier days were on their way. And these days we are privileged. Access to food is mostly not determined by season. Technology has made it easier to keep our homes warm when temperatures drop outside. But still, I think that there is something deep inside us that connects with the seasons, that yearns for the comfort of knowing that hardship comes to an end and better days are on the horizon. Think of times in your life that have been hard. Maybe something really painful happened, a loss that you needed to mourn. Or maybe there was a season when you needed to work much harder and give so much more of yourself just to get by. What a relief when the sun breaks through, literally or metaphorically. And we are reminded that the difficulty is not all there is to life. I think when we go through hard times, it can be difficult to remember to hope or to believe that better days are coming. This place of disbelief, of feeling defeated, was where Jesus' followers were in the days after his death. In that context, his resurrection was astonishing, a reason for hope that they were not sure would come. When the Israelites were trapped in slavery in Egypt, they believed that their fate was to labor in hard times forever. Yet, God intervened and they took their chance to make a new story for themselves. These stories teach us that sometimes hope can find us even when we are not expecting it. It's like the first daffodil on a cold, gray morning. Whether or not we believe it, whether or not we are ready, the flowers still come. And it must be said, new hope doesn't mean that our problems are going to be solved now and forever. After the Israelites left Egypt, they wandered for 40 years in the desert, coming to their new home, and the journey was not easy. And since Jesus' death, even to this day, his followers have had a long struggle to figure out who they are and how they should carry on his teachings without him. For thousands of years now, they haven't figured it out once and for all, but it is a journey that they travel together. In these stories, the new hope, the new life didn't erase either of these tragedies, these hard times these communities experienced. It didn't take them to happily ever after land. It just taught them that a new beginning was possible. It inspired them to journey forward in community. What are the burdens that you hold as we enter this new season? Are you in need of a little hope? Maybe a flower could do the trick. I am sure that you know that flowers will not fix all or probably very many of your problems, but I hope they can teach you that there is still room for color and delight in life. As we go forth from here today and into our weeks, please seize this moment that is here with us now and reach out for new life. Where can you cultivate a sense of renewal? I encourage you to find room for delight, for shaking off the weight of the winter and take some hope for the journey. Maybe today you want to take some time to set some intentions of how you will cultivate a sense of renewal in this season. In the words of Norbert Čapek, the Flower Communion's creator, we are all like a flower, withering away someday, but it is our duty to spread the fragrance of love and peace while we are alive. So please, be like the flowers and use your time in this life well. Find something to celebrate, even in the midst of hard days. Renewal is always possible.
Please rise in body or spirit for our sending hymn. It is number 1030, Siahamba. This is a South African freedom song from the apartheid era, and the word Siahamba is Zulu for we are marching or we are walking. We're going to be distributing some shakers if you want to shake along. It's a lively song, and we'd appreciate your help with it. And we're just going to sing the English verses today. We're going to sing, we're walking, then we're singing and dancing in the light of God. And if God isn't a word you use, it also works to say we're walking in the light of love. All right, here come your shakers. All right, you can also shake your keys.
Good shaking. Thanks for all the shaker distributors, because that was a really great sound. So thank you to Rainier Union, of course, Chris and Lisa and Liz, as well as Gracie and John and Larry for all the wonderful music today and to all of your voices. Gratitude to everyone who made this service happen. You could see lots of moving parts, lots of things to manage, so many hands contributed, and that would include our tech team and Ellen Wanless for our beautiful flower arrangements as well.
Our closing words are from William Murray. Now, let us go forth with faith that life is worth living, that defeat and adversity can be transformed into victory and hope, that love is eternal and that life is stronger than death. And may that faith inspire us to live our lives with dignity, love, and courage in the days and weeks ahead. And now, I'll invite Gracie forward to release our flame. As they do so, please go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.
Why don't you stand up? I was just trying to decide if I was going to ask that, but if you're able to and want to, we'll stand. Embody your spirit, and we're going to sing Long Time Sun to close the service. After we sing, again, just please stay in the sanctuary during the postlude, and we'll do the hat photo up on the chancel.